Hi, welcome to Live United. My name is Karen Knapp, President, CEO, United Way of St. Lucie County. Last year, United Way formed Vision Councils, and the Vision Councils were made up of leaders in the nonprofit world, from government, from education, in the area of health. And what they did was they all joined forces together to review data, to review the United Way Alice Report, and come up with issues that United Way would focus on in the future. And this past year, we awarded one of our, well, I should say the collaborative grant, one of our first large United Way collaborative grants, to Big Brothers Big Sisters, and they are partners, Early Learning Coalition. And I want to welcome Judy and Tony. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having us on your show
This
today.
is so exciting. Our first collaborative, well, we've always had agencies collaborate with one another, but this is specific, and it's a specific issue that you're addressing, and you had to meet specific goals. Let's talk about those goals and your interest in this United Way grant.
Well, first I want to say that I think that the work United Way is doing is so transformational. I've been a CEO for 25 years now, and I can remember when United Way just funded agencies, and then they went to programs. And now they're really looking at community-wide impact, and that's the basis for this grant. And I think that's just incredible that you would have a focus on education and a focus on financial stability and health. And we feel so lucky. Early Learning Coalition, Big Brothers Big Sisters, the school board, and Learning Tree Academy to be able to collaborate for this grant and help to meet some very needed goals in the area through your partnership. You know, in the past, the focus has been more on a single agency, even though you have had partnerships. But this is such a different approach, and I think you know, so well needed, and I think it's going to help us be able to meet some real needs and see some impact in the community that we haven't seen individually before.
Wow, well said. I couldn't have said it better myself. Well, we're so glad that we're working together with you. We're proud to provide the resources. Let's talk about the goal, and that is for kids to read proficiently by 3rd grade. But it's more than just that, isn't it, Judy?
It sure is. You know, Tony and I were both members of the Education Vision Council, but that council spanned from business leaders to K through 12 administrators, and even Indian River State College administrators and other nonprofit leaders. And you know, the goal that they set, their key priority, was to improve reading proficiency at the 3rd grade level, because looking at the data, they saw that that was such a critical need in our district. And we made real progress last year to this year, but still in all, it's a huge need, and that's the basis of our goal. With our Education Collaborative Grant is to improve reading proficiency for 3rd graders through kindergarten readiness, working with our Early Learning Coalition. For VPK students to go lower than that in a partnership with Larry Lee's Early Jumpstart program, and then to work with kindergarten through 3rd graders through our AmeriCorps mentors and our K through 3 volunteers. And you mentioned or alluded that it's not just all about reading proficiency, but it's also about social and emotional development and parent engagement as well. So, you know, those are our primary goals: our kindergarten readiness, reading proficiency by the 3rd grade level, parent engagement, and social emotional development. And that's what the whole grant is based around.
Yeah, you can't wait until the child's in 3rd grade and say, okay, now we're in trouble, or now we really have to work. You know, we have to address that issue early on, and that's what Early Learning Coalition is doing it in partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Yes, definitely. So it's really not just about teaching these children once they enter the public education system. So it's really about getting them beforehand and that's with the VPK program, and the AmeriCorps members from Big Brothers Big Sisters will be working with VPK classes or children at the Learning Tree Academy, which is a local child care center real close to CA Moore, and we really focused in on the Garden Terrace community. So because we understand the need that is there for CA Moore and the community that surrounds it. And as Judy mentioned earlier with the Representative Lee's Jumpstart initiative, we've been focusing on early literacy skills for 2- and 3-year-olds. So with 2- and 3-year-olds, it's really not about getting them to read. It's really just about developing their language and word recognition more than anything else. But there's definitely the social and emotional component, and we will be screening the children with ASQs. It's Ages and Stages questionnaire. So we will make sure that those children are developmentally on track for their age. And if there's an area of concern, then we can work with the parents on getting that child the help that they may need, so that we can address some of those issues well before they even enter the kindergarten or the school system. So
I think Tony made a really good point when he said we're focusing on the Garden Terrace area. And that's what one of the things that you wanted at United Way was us to target a specific set of neighborhoods, an area that was small enough where we could implement a program and services and see a huge impact that then could be replicated in other places, once it was successful. And that's really, truly what we plan on doing. And what's so exciting about this is it's a succession of services, a comprehensive succession of services, literally from 0 all the way through 3rd grade. And we're not going to drop the kids once they leave 3rd grade. We're going to keep up with them through Big Brothers Big Sisters. But this program is really comprehensive, 0 to 3rd grade.
Right, and of course, the school district is one of your partners.
Absolutely.
And we couldn't do it without getting into the schools, and of course, they know how important it is, and I'm sure they appreciate your efforts. You've been working with them for a long time.
We have, but this program, the way we're doing this is really a little bit different than what we've done in the past. I mean, we're planning on doing the one-to-one mentoring, but we're going deeper rather than wider. We've served an awful lot of schools over the years, for many years, really. But with CA Moore, we're planning very deep dive services. We're going to be utilizing 25 volunteers at that site. In addition, 6 AmeriCorps members from kindergarten through 3rd grade, and each of those AmeriCorps members can serve at least 10 to 12 kids one-on-one. So that represents a lot of kids that they're going to be serving. In addition, there'll be 2 AmeriCorps members at the VPK level, or the 4-year-old level at CA Moore, and another 2 across the street at Learning Tree. So you talk about a deep dive into mentoring and parent engagement in that area. That's very different by scope and amount of what we're able to offer at one site.
Let's talk about the parent engagement. That's so important.
yeah, it really is, and there'll be actually several types of parent engagements, activities that we do, focusing on the school agers along, or then also with the younger children. So, but with aspect or regards to the younger children, the 2 through kindergarten entry, or birth really through kindergarten entry, it's really about having the parents understand how important it is for them to be communicating with their children. And an example would be, even with a young child in a stroller, if a red car drives down the street as you're walking along the sidewalk, then the parent, if they get the child engaged to say, "Oh, look at that car. What color is that car?" And even if the child doesn't know or can't answer, by the parent then saying, "That's a red car," with all of that continued work with the parent and the child, that's how the children will recognize the words. and develop their language. And it's proven, unfortunately, that there is a 30 million word gap between children that come from higher socioeconomic status families and those children that are coming from impoverished families. So it's really just about that word development and recognition.
And, and beyond that, it's about fun with reading and activities that promote learning outside of the classroom. And that's something that we're able to do together, both at the early childhood level and then the K through 3 level. And it's, for us, based on some work we did through a pilot program and foundation funding in another area that turned out very successfully, and we're able now to replicate it here in St. Lucie County, which we're very excited about. Tony quoted the 30 million word statistic. There's another fact that just has stayed in my mind about families, middle-class families who see children with an average of 13, 15 books a child, and children who are living in poverty who don't have books. 1 in 300 have a book of their own. And so part of what we're hoping to do through family literacy nights in K through 3 and VPK nights is to be able to bring take-home materials and books to the families that they can have to use with their kids in their homes, and that's worked so successfully in Indian River County as well.
Yeah, being prepared for kindergarten is so important, and the child's success really depends on those first years. Let's talk about more in detail how you prepare kids for kindergarten and how your program's working. Let's say you're targeting specific children. How do you know which child is ready for the program? Or do you, is every child in the program?
Well,
Does every child qualify for the program?
for our joint effort
Yes.
here? Okay, so yes, every child qualifies.
Okay, so everyone in that VPK qualifies, and then everyone at CA Moore.
Yeah. So for the VPK level, every
Right.
child,
Right.
every single child is going to get the one-to-one mentoring 3 times a week, building up to 20 minutes at a time. When they start, maybe 5 minutes.
Right.
By the end of the year, they don't want to stop at 20 minutes,
Oh,
which
that's
is really an
wonderful.
exciting
Yeah.
thing. And in VPK, we focus on oral language and vocabulary, phonological awareness, and print knowledge. So those are the 3 things that are geared to success in kindergarten readiness. For the kindergarten through 3rd grade program at CA Moore, that'll be strictly driven by the teachers. The teachers will make referrals for the children that they feel are struggling readers and need an additional adult in their lives. What's nice about this program is we've actually dedicated a full-time case manager for that school, which is, again, very different than what we've done in the past. Past schools share that case manager, but that case manager is going to be responsible for the volunteers that are on that campus and for the family engagement for K through 3. So those mentors are going to be meeting if they're working with an AmeriCorps. If an AmeriCorps member is working with a child, they'll be meeting 3 times a week, a half hour at a time. With a volunteer, 1 to 2 times a week, depending on the volunteer schedule. And they're going to be concentrating on things like sight word recognition, fluency, comprehension, vocabulary, things that kids really need. And you mentioned the school district as a partner. They've gone so far as to help us with a training manual for the volunteers that is now distributed to every single volunteer, and help with training for those volunteers. So if you're out there and you're interested in volunteering at this terrific program, there's a lot of help between the case manager that's there working with you and the school district staff that that will help prepare you going into the process.
That's right. If someone wants to volunteer, they don't have to
Yeah.
worry, because with you two guys, you're going to provide the training,
That's-
make them feel comfortable, and I'm sure there's screening involved as well.
Absolutely. Background screening for every AmeriCorps member, every volunteer. That's a rigid part of our process that, you know, is occurring for every single person that we put through it with a child.
Let's talk about how the success is going to be measured.
Okay, that's a good
Important.
thing. Yeah. Do you want to start with the early childhood side?
Yep. So with the, we'll have several processes or tools that we'll be using to do that. So there will be an assessment done with the VPK program. There are VPK assessments that are done on the child at the beginning of the year and then at the end of the year, so we can track the progress of the child that way. So each individual child will go through that assessment process. And then after that as well, which we run into the summer slide issue and concern around, all ages really, but then when that child enters kindergarten, there will be an assessment or a screening that's done on that child as well to see if they are kindergarten ready. But we'll use, as I mentioned earlier, the ASQ, the ages and stages, so that is a tool that we can use basically you could use it as often as every 6 months on the child. And usually it's around their birth month and then at their 6-month interval, so we'll ensure that the child is on track with development that way as well.
And from our standpoint for the one-to-one mentoring at the VPK level, the 4-year-old level, we use the Florida VPK assessment that shares data at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and the end of the year. And we review the progress that the kids are making. I think I mentioned earlier that there are 3 areas that looks at: the print knowledge, the phonological awareness, and the oral language. And so, part of what an AmeriCorps member is doing is to try to help those kids progress in those areas, along with the social emotional development, the bonding with another adult. At the K through 3 level, we use the iReady, which is an instrument that's administered at the school district, again, 3 times a year. And we have access by parent permission for using those scores, and along with grade cards, which we receive from the district, again with parent permission. And our team of VP of program and program staff review that information on every 9-week basis to see how kids are progressing. We pull the kids who are not progressing as we hope they will, and consult with the school district on other strategies to use with them. We're looking at grades, attendance, conduct through, and literacy test scores through those measures. And then, of course, our ultimate goal is really to move the needle on the FSA scores, the Florida State Assessment scores, so that while we're not using them as our measurement of effectiveness, that's what the community wants to see, is the proficiency rise at that level.
Yeah, I think it's important to stress, too, that it's not United Way alone that's working on this issue. It's all of our agencies. It's Children's Services Council. I mean, I know that there are very many people, many businesses in the community that are concerned and working on this issue along with you. It takes more than United Way funds. So let's talk about the funds that you have for this program and your need.
So it's a huge collaborative, I will tell you that.
Yes, yep.
And, and I just want to stop here and say we couldn't be working better partners when you look at working with Early Learning Coalition of St. Lucie County and the school district and all of our funders, United Way and Learning Tree Academy, and the work that Larry Lee has done through Jumpstart.
Right.
Funders that we have, obviously our primary funder in this is United Way, and we're so grateful for the 3-year funding because that shows sustainability and really gives us a chance to prove this is working. That was a wonderful step on United Way's part, and I truly applaud that. Children's Services Council is donating dollars to this cause as well, both with VPK AmeriCorps members and AmeriCorps members. And also through our Family Support Services grant that we have through them, we have individual and family counseling available to these families were they to need it. So that's another ancillary service that's available. Department of Education through Big Brothers Big Sisters Association of Florida is helping to fund the case manager that's going to be stationed at CA Moore. We have Indian River State College that is providing mentors through their elementary education majors who are working with us on a regular basis. We're sharing part of the funds with Early Learning Coalition that United Way has gifted us with. And they'll be utilizing that in delivery of services for the younger students, both to continue community outreach of Larry's program and the VPK work. So, partners, we have businesses that have helped us through fundraisers and partnerships that, are just so critical to us, but there is a lot of community need for help out there for a project like this.
We're so very fortunate, I think, living in St. Lucie County. In my years, spent a lot of years in the private sector as a banker, but I have to tell you that it's just amazing how our community comes together and really works together and puts any personal agendas aside. It's really about focusing on who needs the help and how we can get them the help. And Judy and Big Brothers Big Sisters, that we're just very excited as well to be partnering with them and everyone that we're working with. We can always use additional funds, so if anyone's out there that's looking to make a contribution, by all means, we'll accept whatever dollars come our way. But definitely the volunteering as well. So whether it's individual's time, talent, or treasure, we will gladly accept anything to help promote and work with these children that really need that additional help, that they're just not getting as much of that they need to really inspire and keep them moving. So we receive funding from the Office of Early Learning, which is through the Department of Education, but and that funding pays for the VPK program, which I want to mention too. So if there's any families in that particular area, or for that matter, anywhere in the county, that has a 4-year-old that will be 4 on or before September 1st, the VPK program is free to them. It doesn't matter what their income status is, so of the family. It's a totally free program. So at a minimum, we're hoping that we can also generate some interest in possibly some 4-year-olds that are living in the community that aren't going to a child care center. Because for a family to put a child at a center, it costs money. And if a family's not working, they may think they can't qualify for VPK if they don't realize that it is a free program. So it's a 3-hour program that their child can get before they enter the public school system, which is an amazing gift that state legislators gave our 4-year-olds over 11 years ago.
And the VPK programs, they're scattered throughout the county.
That's correct.
How
Yep.
many do you think there are altogether?
We have, I want to say that there's approximately 90 sites.
Wow.
So, including the school districts. So generally all of our elementary or K-8s have at least one VPK classroom, and then there are multiple multiple locations of private child care providers and faith-based providers that offer VPK as well.
Well, we have about 2 minutes left. What did we miss? Is there anything that you would like to bring up, or is there an event coming up that you'd like to talk about?
Well, of course, we have Bowl for Kids' Sake coming up on September 23rd, and
There you
that's a
go.
major fundraiser for us every year. All of the schools come out each year, and law enforcement and so many of the public entities, and we're so appreciative, and that's the kind of fundraiser that really helps to propel our programs forward. It's the public-private partnerships like this grant that really make a difference in St. Lucie County. And I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't say that we're focused this morning on need for CA Moore and Learning Tree Academy and this program that's funded through United Way, but we have need for mentors throughout the county in community and school-based programs. And if you're interested in volunteering just a little bit of your time, it can make a transformational difference in a child's life. And I guess the thing that I often forget to say, that people remind me all the time, is it's not just in the child's life, but it's in your life as well that it makes a transformational difference. Just the joy of seeing a child grow and enjoy and learn, that brings joy to you. And so I'd really encourage anyone out there who's interested in either school-based mentoring or community-based mentoring anywhere in the county to give us a call at 772-466-8535.
Well, I want to thank you both for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and I want to thank you for all that you're doing in St. Lucie County. And if anyone out there, anyone in our viewing audience would like to volunteer, you can call the number on the screen, or you can call United Way also at 772-464-5300. Thank you for joining us.